Hi folks, I want to tell you a story, so bear with me. So I teach pottery classes, and when I teach pottery classes, I make the students make a lot of work, right? Where the goal is to make better pieces. And so I tell the students a story when I'm working with them, and that is the story of one particular artist who was a teacher, and what he said at the start of class one day, what he did was he divided the class into two, and he told one half of the class, here is a beautiful work of art. Your job, the only thing you need to do is you need to make a piece of pottery that looks exactly like this. One piece of pottery, that's what you're going to grade it on. If it looks exactly like this, you get an A. And then the other half of the class, he said, you need to make a lot of pots. We're going to weigh the amount of pottery you have at the end of the class, and based on the weight, you're going to get an A. So if you have 500 pounds that you've thrown, it doesn't matter what they look like, they can all look terrible. You are going to get an A. So he divides the class up and he lets them work for the entire quarter. And at the end of that quarter, well, at the start of that quarter, everybody's making stuff that's not that great, right? It's a bit messy, it's a bit childish. But at the end of the quarter, he puts out all their work. And over here on the side, where he asks the students to make a lot of work, he has some, kind of student level work, and then he has some really high quality work. These students have made a lot of stuff, and some of it ended up being great, right? They got better. They got a lot better. Well, over on the other side, the students were so worried about making the perfect pot that they worried and they didn't work, and they knew they only had to make one piece, so they spent a ton of time on that. And when they made mistakes, it just kind of devastated them. Oh, there's my one piece. So they made a total of less work. But they also found out that the work they made wasn't as good. Now, the people making a lot of stuff, they made some crappy stuff too, right? It was not all great. Some of it looked very childish, but some of it was amazing. Some of it was really great. So here's the reason I'm telling you this story. You are writing in the discussion forum, and the discussion forum is just simply a place for you to try some stuff out. It's essentially like if you were in a pottery class and I asked you to throw a pot and it crashed. It crashed. It's fine. It's no big deal. Now you're going to start and you're going to do a new one. You have 10 weeks of opportunities to write in the discussion forum, and I'm requiring you to make at least 4 posts each week. So that's 40 times you're going to write about art, at least, right? And I'd love it if you do more than that. And in that time, you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to say something that's confusing. You're going to use a term incorrectly, and that is lovely. That's wonderful. I love it when you make mistakes in the discussion forum because we know you are trying. And as you try, you're like the potters who make a lot of work. If you write a bunch, if you try a bunch, you're going to get a lot better. And if you hardly ever post, if you're afraid of posting, if you're afraid of making a mistake, you are not going to get better at this. So this is my reminder to you. Make mistakes. Screw it up. Write the wrong thing. And then you don't need to apologize because that is part of the process. As you make the mistakes and you read my post and you read your classmates' post and you try again, you are going to get a lot better like those potters who threw a lot of work. All right? So let's see it. Thanks.